All right. Hello, everybody. We're going to get started now. Thank you for coming to our town hall on the Workforce Education and Recovery Fund. As the economic crisis in our country continues due to COVID-19, we believe CCSF will play a vital role in the recovery of our community, which is why we're fighting for adequate resources to serve the needs of San Franciscans. So thank you for coming to this town hall where we'll be hearing from trustees, alumni, employers, faculty, and current students. First, I'm gonna go over some housekeeping rules for the Zoom call. My name is Marcos. I'm with AFT 2121 as a student organizer. And so I wanna ask the speakers to please change their name to include affiliation. As a disclaimer, we are recording this meeting, so participating in this Zoom meeting gives us permission to use all or part of this recording for media purposes, unless you decline to give permission. Most of the audience won't be showing in the video recording. We have a set of presentations today, so each speaker will be muted by host unless they are speaking. And we will have an optional Q&A at the end. You can get in touch with people on the media advisory for questions, or you could just wait and speak up at the end to ask a question. So yeah, thank you all for joining. Before I'm gonna make sure everybody's here. Okay, so first I want to introduce Dianna Gonzales, our Interim Chancellor at City College. Just want to make sure that she can see this. Okay. So Dianna, if you're ready, you have 5 minutes.
Hi, good morning, everybody, and thank you. And as Marcos had just indicated, I'm Dianna Gonzales. I'm the Interim Chancellor for City College of San Francisco, and thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this exciting and very necessary endeavor. And just a couple things about the renamed work, formerly known as CHEF, which I was glad to see happen, because I think it really underscores the core of what we're trying to accomplish here and what City College, our contribution to the community, to the economic recovery, to social justice. And so I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. And I'm probably not going to say anything that some of you don't already know. So I'm here to just really be painfully redundant and advocate. So, most of you know that during times of recession, that's when community colleges, our enrollment tends to grow, but that's when our funding is reduced. And so it's been a model that's broken for quite some time. And in the midst of an economic downturn, the likes of which we haven't seen since the Great Depression, that's the highest unemployment rate since the Great Depression, and such uncertainty because of the pandemic, providing adequate funding for community colleges, and in particular City College, is even more vital. And I'm proud to stand with our and I know that we're still working with the Labor Council on this, but I'm proud to stand with our labor partners, our Board of Trustees, and our college community to continue to advocate for additional funding. The renaming of WERF, I think, really focuses on where the opportunity that City College can provide that some of our other institutes of higher ed cannot. We provide the programs for the direct responders. We provide the programs that are critical. And I see Greg Keach here, and and at a previous session that we had, Alan Wong had his dad on here, and where I had characterized ESL as more along the lines of social justice. ESL and a number of our non-credit classes are so absolutely critical and a foundation for other classes and other opportunities for our diverse student population and our diverse community. So, and those are the areas that tend to be underfunded. We were left out, the DACA students, non-credit, that was left out of the CARES funding. And so it's initiatives like this that are so critical. And I think most of the folks on this call understand the importance of having a vital City College. And we're faced with a number of the economic downturn budget cuts like so many others, but we are so uniquely poised to be that linchpin to provide economic recovery. You know, we've joined with the State Chancellor's Office and also focusing on social justice. We are also uniquely poised for that with the programs that we offer. So I look forward to working with all of you and each and every one of you in whatever way I can to help advocate for this. Like I said, much needed funding in the midst of facing, at worst, deferrals to our revenue, and worst case scenario, further budget cuts. And we've already incurred enough, and we need to stop the bleeding. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana. And yes, you're correct. When recession hits, that's when community colleges are needed the most, but when our funding decreases the most as well. So we're looking to avoid that situation and make sure that we have the resources we need at City College. Next up, the next speakers I want to introduce are Shanell Williams, the President of the Board of Trustees, and Tom Temprano, the Vice President of the Board of Trustees. So welcome, Shanell and Tom. You also have 5 minutes.
Yeah, I will turn it over to our Vice President, Tom Temprano, but I did want to hop on and just say thank you to everyone on this call. We know it's a hard time for all of us. We know how critical these programs are for our most vulnerable communities. And so I look forward to working with everyone on this call to figure out how we can best support City College during this very, very unprecedented and very challenging time. Myself, I'm a former student, and if I did not have the opportunities that City College gave me, I would not be here as president of the Board of Trustees today. So for me, it's really personal, and just to see our beautiful students and what they've been able to do in terms of transforming their lives through these critical workforce programs, it's phenomenal. And so I just want to work with everyone to make WERF happen. It's a critical time for us. So I'm going to turn it over to Vice President Temprano.
Thank you, President Williams, and thank you, Marcos, for the introduction. Thank you to Interim Chancellor Gonzales for your leadership and your steadfast commitment to advocating for more revenue for this college and for fighting for WERF. The board leadership at City College has been meeting with AFT, with Supervisor Mar's office, with student representatives for, at this point, I believe, over a year to conceive of additional city support for City College of San Francisco. There are plenty of economic studies that show the economic benefit that the City College and the education we provide generate for the city and county. We provide so many critical services to the city and county of San Francisco, everything from ESL courses to older adult courses and programming, our social justice courses, which are clearly critical right now, and of course the many workforce training programs that are going to be discussed today. We train everyone from nurses to construction workers to early childhood educators. We train so much of our essential workforce on this pandemic. And unfortunately, as our chancellor mentioned, we have been hit over the last 4 years from a drop in our enrollment due to our accreditation crisis, for changes to the state funding formula, which have jeopardized our ability to offer many of these classes. And COVID-19 has come on top of that, and we are now looking at a horrible repetition of the mistakes of the Great Recession, where the state cuts community college funding at the exact time that the need for what we provide for the community is the greatest. Right now, City College is looking at potentially up to a $27 million cut in state funding, which for perspective for folks is approximately between 10 and 15% of our entire unrestricted general fund budget. It is truly catastrophic. The city supporting educational institutions who provide these critical services at a time of state funding shortfalls is not new. I wish we could say Chef was the first of its kind, but it's not, because we already have PEEF. In 2004, at the same time there were cuts to from the state and federal government to K-12 public education funding, the San Francisco Unified School District passed the Public Education Enrichment Fund, which we are modeling the WERF after. I don't want to belabor what the chancellor said about the need, but I think if the goal of the city and county of San Francisco and the residents of the city and county of San Francisco is to help rebuild our economy, get people back to work, to train the healthcare workers and other essential workers that we are going to need to come out of COVID healthy and safe and with a thriving economy. City College will not be able to do that to the degree that the community needs us if we do not get the support from the city and county that we are seeking with WERF. So I'm looking forward to hearing from many of you today, to answering your questions. But I can't say it strongly enough how important this initiative and how important this support will be to our students, to our mission, and to the entire economic and public health recovery of the city and county as we come out of COVID.
Thank you, Shanell and Tom, for your words. Yeah, we really want to support our students in this time of crisis, and it's going to be really important to keep our, our workforce development programs alive during this economic recession. Next up, for the next speaker, I'd like to introduce Mary Bravewoman. She is the AFT 2121 Vice President. So, Mary, you have 5 minutes as well.
Thank you. I'm dealing with some construction going right outside my building, so I apologize if it gets very noisy all of a sudden. But thank you all for being here, and thank you to everyone who has spoken on behalf of WERF so far. As Marco said, my name is Mary Bravewoman. I'm math faculty at City College and the newly elected Vice President to the Teachers Union, AFT 2121. But my history with the school is much deeper than that. I've been a member of the college community since 1990, when I came there as a single mother with a 3-year-old in tow, and my desire is to see City College be there for future generations the way it was there for myself at the time, and then my daughter. Several years later, she was also a student of City College, and it gave us the opportunity to explore careers and career paths and educational opportunities that we would not have had otherwise. So we were poor. We were living below the poverty level. We were on financial aid. We had no other options other than City College. But when we discovered City College, and I say we because it's always been my daughter and myself. When we discovered City College, our whole world opened up, and like Shanell, if it weren't for the opportunities that I had, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have had my career path, and neither would my daughter. And so I'm here to implore folks that are in the position to make decisions, and the people who are in the position to advocate for City College. We will be that economic recovery. We will be that center of job growth and prosperity for this city, if we are here to do it, but we can't do it without funding. Everything else I had to say has pretty much been said by the speakers already, but I appreciate the opportunity to speak and to be here, and I appreciate the support to see so many people here in support of WERF. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. I think we can all relate to, going to City College and figuring out what is it that we want to do with our lives, and having that opportunity is really important for people and to keep a community healthy. Now I want to introduce Gordon Mar, District 4 Supervisor. He's been one of the champions for this legislation. Thank you, Gordon, for joining us. You also have 5 minutes.
Alan,
Great.
perhaps you can speak for Gordon. I know that he was trying to be here from another meeting, but may
Nope,
not
I'm
have been
here.
able to get here in time.
I'm here. I just joined. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, great. Yeah, well, thanks. Thank you, Marcos. And thanks actually to everyone for helping to organize this very, very important town hall and this discussion about the critical role that City College can and must play in the economic recovery in San Francisco. I just wanted to provide some a little bit of context for this issue and for the proposal for the on the Workforce Education and Recovery Fund. And during this unprecedented health emergency, we have also been confronted with an unprecedented emergency in unemployment, with more workers having lost their jobs and income over the past several months than at any time since the Great Depression. And the numbers are staggering. In just 4 months, 42 million people across the country have filed for unemployment insurance. And this is more than the entire population of Canada. And the economic meltdown that has devastated the country amid the coronavirus pandemic has proven uniquely damaging for Black Americans, threatening to exacerbate an already staggering racial wealth gap and fueling nationwide protests focused on racial justice. Black workers are more likely to be out of a job, to have lost income, or to have left the labor market altogether. And economic data and surveys show that less than half of Black adults are now employed. More than 1 in 6 Black workers was out of a job in May, the Labor Department reported on Friday. And the Black unemployment rate continued to rise, even as the overall unemployment rate has started to tick down nationwide. And locally, the picture is just as devastating. According to the Chronicle, just this past Sunday, since the shutdown started in March, a record 116,346 San Franciscans, that's roughly 1/5 of the city's workforce, have either lost their job or had their work hours reduced to the point where they could file for assistance, according to the May 16th numbers from EDD. And to put these numbers in perspective, in the 2008 recession, unemployment figures peaked at 45,000. So investing in City College of San Francisco in this moment of an unemployment crisis to maintain and expand education and workforce training really should and must be central to our city's economic recovery strategy. City College provides the most comprehensive offering of vocational training and adult education programs in our city, and it's tuition free to all San Francisco residents as a result of the Free City program, which many of us in this town hall actively advocated for creating. So thank you again for everyone for joining this town hall, where we're gonna just be able to hear more important stories and evidence of the role that City College has played in the past and currently plays in helping to so many tens of thousands of folks in our city develop careers and economic security. And this is going to be really, really important information for us to continue to highlight as we advocate for the Workforce Education and Recovery Fund and the central role that City College can and must play in our economic recovery in San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gordon. Yeah, it is really important that we can provide, the opportunity for people to get back to work, and doing it at City College is a way to make that an affordable, debt-free process. So we're really grateful for your help in this legislation. I wanted to, before I hand it over to Lee Lovett, just wanted to give some reminders for people that have joined, a little bit late. If you're able to change your name and put your affiliation next to your name, that would be great. And for moving forward, speakers will have 2 minutes, and you will hear a bell after 2 minutes, just to make sure that we are keeping with time. I did want to do one quick, and yes, if you have any questions, you can send it to the co-host, which is me, Beatrice from AFT 2121, Lee Lovett, and Athena Wade, all from AFT 2121 as well. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Vic Chung, our student trustee, who's joining us today. Thank you, Vic, for being here. If there's other people that I should shout out, maybe Lee, you can do that as I hand it over to you. But now we'll be hearing from alumni, employers, faculty, and current students on the different programs that City College offers. So Lee, I hold it over to you.
Hi, thank you. So I'm Lee Levitt. I'm a City College counselor and coordinator active with AFT 2121 on Supervisor Mar's initiative. As you know, in the latest tally, 1 out of 5 working San Franciscans aren't working now. And the motto of one of our departments is, we keep San Francisco working. That's more important now than ever. So today we're going to have a presentation first with featured speakers. Please save your questions for the Q&A at the end. You will hear from 8 programs at City College, just representative of the diversity of programs and people who are part of this community. The workforce training that's offered by our community college will continue lifting up so many immigrants, vulnerable communities, students of color, entry-level and skilled workers, people with low and modest incomes, and the unemployed. So right now, I will be unmuting each speaker as they come up, and we'll introduce by a department. So each of our alumni will have 2 minutes to speak, and each of the employer partners about 3 to 4 minutes. Please keep as closely to the time as possible. And without further ado, construction management is our first program that we're featuring. It's under the architecture department. We have 4 speakers. The first is a grad of our construction management program. His name is Shirvi Kong, and he is now working at Swinerton. Shirvi?
Yeah, it's Swinnerton. Yeah, so hi, thank you for inviting me to this town hall. So a little bit about me. I'm currently a assistant project manager, currently working at Swinnerton, a general contractor, headquartered in San Francisco. I was born and raised in San Francisco, grew up in Chinatown, Nob Hill area, and we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and so I attended public education my whole life. I attended Galileo and SF State, and then during 2010, I graduated from SF State, and it was a similar time during an economic downturn as well, and it was like a recession. So I couldn't find any employment after graduating. I started looking for the one-stop career centers in my neighborhood and found a Mission Hiring Hall postings for a job readiness training partner with construction administration courses at CCSF. That was 9 credit. And that's where my re-education phase started. That's where experience with my CCSF classes, 9 credit courses at the Mission campus and Feeling campus all started, and it continued, and ended up with getting employers to come out due to the professors' connections, and got a student internship at the end of the job training. And taking all those CCF classes kind of sparked my interest in pursuing a construction management certificate, which is the credit courses. So I would say construction management would be, it ended up ultimately helping out advance my position at my current job at Swinnerton, and I worked my way up from the bottom from an admin to now a project manager. And then at the time, all my classmates I talked to in the CM program, they were all ready and eager to like go out and find a job. And today at Swinnerton, I'm a part of that career fair. I represent Swinnerton as a construction management field, try to employ graduating students from these career fairs hosted by Lyle and his department from CCSF, and the job training counselors. And I'm just saying, at Swinnerton, we now have like 4 graduates from CCSF that took the similar path as what I did. I just spread the word about CCSF. And another thing I like about CCSF is it's affordable, and it's close by. So you can just hop on the Muni and you're there, you know, it has good access. And I just want to make sure that everyone is thinking about the current pandemic and the class of 2020 grads. Well, they'll be looking for a place for education and to get themselves ready for a future job. And they'll be looking for CCSF for a dependable education system. I mean, that's all I have to say. Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker from construction management is Gustav Choto, who is a graduate also of the program and now teaches in construction management in the architecture department. Gustav?
Good morning, everybody. It's an honor to be here and to represent City College and speak on my experience. I started at City College in 2006. I went through a city program called City Build to get a job in the trades. I decided that I wanted to get into the management side. So I started taking classes with Olga Fernandez. And through that process, I discovered construction management and all the wealth of opportunities that are available. I've been working in this industry for 14 years now, since I completed the program and attained my construction management degree in construction management. I am currently an instructor of construction management in the architecture department, teaching cost estimating and other courses. I'm also the head of customer success for construction management software called Join. I've also worked for GCs, big GCs like Webcore Builders and other contractors. And the experience at City College was crucial in my career. If it wouldn't have been for City College, I may have not even known that there was opportunities on the professional side for construction. Construction, although even with the pandemic and the economic downturn, construction is still going strong, and there are a lot of opportunities in that arena. And I see it every day with my students. A lot of them are getting opportunities to work. I'm happy to say Shervit Kong is actually one of my former estimating students, funny enough. And I've had other success stories, other Swinnerton folks that have gone on from City College in our classes. So City College is critical to our community. I was born and raised here in the local neighborhood in the Excelsior district, and I've always seen City College as a beacon of light for many people, regardless of what they decide to study, whether they're doing just community classes to learn to speak English or higher level courses like construction management and architecture. It's something critical, and I know that this city and this state will support City College, and I implore them to do it. And I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to teach and still be part of City College. And I know that they will get through this together, and I'm very honored again to be here. Just to make a quick mention, I'm also part of the American Society of Professional Estimators for the last 7 years as well. So I've been able to find synergies. So again, everyone, for the opportunity to speak and listening to my story.
Sorry, I think everyone got unmuted, so I unmuted everyone, but Lee, you can unmute yourself now.
Thank you. Yes, the mute and unmute is a little tricky on the Zoom. Next, I'd like to invite Drew Taylor, and I'm trying to unmute Drew in order to speak. And he is an employer from the Mission Hiring Hall.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to hear that the first two speakers do have ties to Mission Hiring Hall. Many of you know that we're a nonprofit in San Francisco. We've been around for roughly 49 years. We are in the construction sector along with the hospitality and the security sector. I'm the senior program manager at Mission Hiring Hall. One of my primary roles is to facilitate and run our construction admin program, which has been seated in some form or fashion for over 14 years at the Mission campus. The Mission campus has been a great partner to us, and so we truly appreciate that. And it's one of the things that helps add stability to our program. One of the questions I was asked is the role that construction management has played in our program. And I will say approximately 5 years ago, through the sheer will of Alio, we finally made a program change. Understand that for the CAPS, or our construction admin program, not only does Mission Hiring Hall recruit, we enroll, we seat, we coach, we do all the soft skills necessary to get people employed. But one of the biggest changes is through the sheer will of Alio was a program change where we brought in a CM100 course, and originally I believe it was CM10. Alio can correct me on that, to be part of the everyday curriculum. And how does that benefit CAPSA? The biggest benefit is that we have now upticked. We really believe the days of seating an admin in construction companies where maybe they're just getting water and ordering sandwiches are over. And so we have to make sure that our graduates bring value to these construction companies. And the CM100 course has allowed us to add value through the Mission campus and make our graduates much more employable. I wish someone was here from OEWD, but we fluctuate top 3 as far as starting salaries upon graduation from the program. We like to say that you make better decisions when your bills are paid. And what we say but mean by that is that, you know, a lot of our students will graduate from our CAPSA program. They will circle back and take classes and continue in the construction management program. Again, you know, once they're financially viable, they can do these sort of things. So we just want to point this out. That's essentially what I wanted to say. For all of us in the employment side of these programs, soft skills is I think one of the most underlooked or overlooked, depending on what side of the coin you're on, that leads to job placement. We are big on the soft skills development, and we trust our academic partners to get our students up to speed academically, and so that's the big win-win for everybody.
Thank you very much, Drew. Our next speaker is Saptarshi Desai, and he is another employer partner from Herrero Builders.
Thank you, Lee. Good morning, everyone. My name is Saptarshi Desai. I'm in the construction industry for last 35 years. Worked for Turner Construction for 15 and last almost 8 years with Herrero Builders. Herrero Builders is a local San Francisco small general contractor. And just to give you a reference, I finished St. Luke's Replacement Hospital with Herrero Builders. I have been involved with the City College for almost 5 years, and I'm part of their advisory board, helping Leo and the others to develop the construction management program with other industry leaders. And I tell you this, they have really, really good program that prepares the students to go into the market, construction market. As we just heard from the other speakers, that there is a big unemployment in the city right now. I think there's a great opportunity for those folks to join this program because it prepares students for the next level. Herrero has hired several folks from the City College program, and it's a wonderful kind of opportunity for them. And I think the company like Herrero, who is local in San Francisco, to hire the local talent. So I would say the program is well prepared. I've been involved with the UC Berkeley, Stanford, and I tell you this, the City College has a really solid 3-step program. So 2 semesters, 3 semesters, and 4 semesters that the students can work as a project coordinator. They can start as an entry-level project engineer position, and they move up. Just like the other individual from Swinnerton, we have started, the folks started at the entry-level position, and they have now reached to the project management level as well, because the City College prepares them very well. So I think it's a great opportunity in these circumstances that we all are in, and we can prepare the local talent, those who are looking for, the opportunity and get the employment. So I'm a firm believer in the City College. I'm involved. I go and teach the classes as guest speaker. I've attended the classes that Gustav and others have teaching, and you guys are doing a great job. So I think it's a great to fund the program and get them prepared for the next year or next semester. So thank you for inviting me, and I'm going to stay engaged with the City College to make sure that the program is really successful. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Saptarshi, and thank you to all our alums and employers for taking time out of your busy days. So the Broadcasting Electronic Media Arts program is really a vital program that helps to train for digital skills that are essential in the 21st century. And we have one speaker, and that is Jessica Cry, who is an alum of the program. Jessica, take it away.
Hi, thank you for having me. Really excited for this opportunity to shout out City College for all the help I've gotten. I am currently a rep and organizer for United Food and Commercial Workers Local 5. I'm also the co-chair of our San Francisco League Council's Social Justice Committee and the vice chair of our San Francisco Cannabis Oversight Committee. I've also done some work with UFCW International because of my experience with the BEMA department, which is where I came from. So I had the opportunity to use and be seen as somebody that is incredibly helpful in my union because of my experience and the things that I've learned through BEMA. My ability to be able to record, interview, edit, social media, to be basically like one-woman show for media within our union has made me someone that they can look to help communicate with people. Because as things change, we have to look for multiple outlets in order to get information out to people, to organize people, and to also uplift people's voices. So I've always been really proud of being able to say like, oh, I can edit that, I can record that interview, I can get member testimonials and have them edited with background audio. I can get it on social media on multiple platforms, all because of my experience with BEMA. For me, going to City College and having the opportunity to do the BEMA department was amazing because I'm from the Bay Area. I've lived in San Francisco for over 12 years. And the ability to go to school and work full-time was sounding like something that I could never do. But because City College was there, I had the opportunity to work and learn and become somebody that could really be helpful to any place that I go to. As I said, there's been more ways that we're trying to reach out to people, especially more recently with more of the marches that have been going on to, bring attention to social justice that's needed. I feel like this is the time that we should really be investing into our education and our community, and City College is exactly what that is. The training that I've gotten, I feel like I got more one-on-one training from City College than I ever did at any other school that I tried to go to. And I'm fortunate that even after not being at City College anymore, I know that I have the ability to reach out to people that were educators of mine to help get more information, to spread word, and also just to further network and connect. But as I said, with the international union, I was brought on to go and work in different states to help organize because they needed help with their social media and editing and interviewing workers. And I know that I'll have more of those opportunities now as well. And I couldn't be more grateful to that department and the people that had guided me. Shout out to people like Michelle and Jody for always having my back and teaching me things that were things that I could actually use in real world situations. There's only so much that you can just learn from a book or a YouTube video. You definitely need that interaction between one another in order to grow and develop.
Thank you very much, Jessica, for sharing your experiences. Our next program is child development, and what this program does is really provide broad training for teaching in other professions within the pre-K to 12 schools. And we have our first speaker who's an alum from child development, and she works at Felton Child Development Center. That's Melissa Serrano.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and speak on behalf of the Child Development Department of City College. I would start by saying that I consider myself a homegrown product of the City College Child Development Program. I started the program in 1988. And so I'm also a native San Franciscan. I'm a product of our local public school system as well that fed into City College. And I kind of became a parent pretty young. And so once you become a parent, your options are somewhat limited if you want to be raising your children and working. So the child development program and working in the field of child development was really essential to my family. And I was able to do that with the support and the programming that I got at City College. So like I said, I am a product of the public school system. I participated in special education courses when I was a product of the Unified School District, went to City College. The City College career route for me was really long because I was a mom. But once I became invested in really, trying to achieve my education, I was one of the first cohorts for the Child Development Metro program. That program was so successful. It really recognized that folks in child development needed that extra push and that extra support to make it to the next level. And so we had special courses, and we had support through tutors, and we're able to then meet the graduation requirements that a lot of folks in child development just weren't doing. And with that program, I was able to then go into a pathway at SF State. And SF State, I joined a program. It was the first cohort again, and it was called the PATH program. And again, there was recognition that there's a lot of folks in child development that were just not obtaining their degrees. And so this program, again, was designed especially for child development folks. And because of this program, a lot of folks ended up getting their degrees. I ended up going back to school with people that I started with in the 90s that were coming back, and we were getting our degrees. And so I've had the privilege of witnessing a tremendous growth in the child development workforce. I feel like we've made so much upward mobility, and for us to start to lose that mobility now seems almost criminal. So as I was mentioned, I am an employer for Felton Institute. So one of my roles in the last few years has been as a recruiter, and I've worked as a consultant for several different child development programs. And so I've come across a lot of folks that have gone through the child development program at City College, and they're really building their skills. The pathway programs that City College has made it so that people can be successful in the field. And so the work experience programs, for instance, there's two types of development that happens to students. There's the book smarts that you get when you're obtaining your degree, but then there's the work experience. A lot of City College programs are designed so that students can get both. Right? You're learning your theories, you're learning your philosophies, and then you're putting that into practice by actually being in the field. So I've seen a lot of success. And like somebody mentioned, the downfall of 2008, there's a lot of people that were out of work, but child development folks were still working. People still needed childcare. And at that time, there was several educators that I worked with directly that chose education, that changed their fields of study and went into education. And whether they started as child development folks and then went on to be teachers or went on to be speech pathologists or went on to be counselors, child development was that foundation that really set them up for their future careers. And so I definitely want to advocate for it, and I want to say that it just seems it just seems so sad to me that in the current state of the world that we're in today, for us to lose that momentum that we work so hard to gain. We have so many folks in our field now that actually do have degrees. We have so many folks in our field now that are committed to the field, that are committed to mentoring the next generation of educators. And now when we're going through all this COVID stuff and we're going through the different things that we're going through in our society, it's more important than ever to invest in our educators so that they can invest in our children, right? And so I think what's gonna happen with so many programs closing, there's gonna be a higher demand for our child development programs, and there's less programs available. So I wanna be part of
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for pointing
Go on
out.
for a long time about our programs.
Yes, it is so important that you work in education and that you are also helping to bring up the next generation of our teachers. Thank you very much. Yeah. So now we have Sabrina Dong, who is one of our employer partners from Ming Head Start. Sabrina.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Sabrina Dong. I'm the HR manager at Ming Head Start. We are a Head Start program funded by the federal, state, and the city government to provide comprehensive service for children aged from 0 to 5 years old from low-income backgrounds, and also for children with special needs. I'm here to show our sincere support for the need of funding for City College, especially child development and ESL classes, particularly in the Chinatown and Ocean campus. Just like many other ECE programs, we rely heavily on the City College on provide classes for people to enter the ECE field. So for many of our teachers, including actually our large substitute teacher pool, STEP program, I can say at least 150 of our employees, they, taking child development class and ESL class is the first step in their lifelong career. So for 85% of our teachers, English is their second language. So without the ESL class, they struggle to find a job. They struggle to get a degree or even, move up in the career ladder. So in order to, apply, remain, or upgrade their child development permit, which is the requirement of the ECE career, those teachers need to continuously taking ECE classes through child development, department at City College. Therefore, City College is the place they go to take those classes so they can get their permit so they can work. I have so many success stories here at Ming Head Start. Many of our current site manager, lead teacher, they used to be our parent of the enrolled children. They were low income family, and they took the ESL class and they took the child development class. And they slowly work from substitute teacher, floater, assistant teacher, lead teacher, and then move up to site manager or even the management team member today. And stay with us for 10, 20 plus years. Because of the also the convenient location of the Chinatown campus and Ocean campus, many of our teachers actually really rely on the public transportation. So it's really easy for them to get into those campuses. We really need the class to be back, either online or in person, or a mix of both, considering the social distancing, of course. San Francisco needs the early childhood education. The teacher shortage is real. We cannot afford to lose more teachers. So I really want to, show our support, and hopefully City College Child Development class and ESL class can continue to provide that support for people trying to find a job in the ECE, trying to sustain, their ECE career. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. So next we have the computer science program, and we have Katherine Moloney, who received multiple certificates at City College, and you can speak to the industry about, speak to the industry experiences that you've had, Katherine.
Yeah, hello everyone. As she said, my name is Katherine Moloney, and right now I'm working in the greater Boston, Massachusetts area for one of the local public libraries. But before I moved to Massachusetts to be closer to and help older family members, I lived in San Francisco. I started at City College in the summer of 2011 as an adult career changer, and I already had a bachelor's degree. And over 2 years, I attended full-time as a student, working part-time to cover my living expenses, and I relied on the Healthy San Francisco program for healthcare and the state's Board of Governors fee waiver program. I completed the several certificates with the computer science and computer networking departments, and through City College, I got an internship, and that internship led to a full-time job offer in San Francisco. And within 2 years of starting the programs at City College, I had doubled my previous income. And I really appreciated that the state and the city made an investment in me when I was a student, and was very happy, you know, to see that cycle of investment where then with my higher income, I had money to spend in local businesses and arts associations and donate to charities in turn. So I think at this, everyone here recognizes the excellence of City College and all the programs it offers. And then the question is whether or not the city can afford to do this. And I would say that the city needs to do this as part of its recovery, because local San Franciscan residents, like City College is one of their pathways to finding a sustainable life in San Francisco. So this investment during this COVID-created economic lockup is part of, you know, helping San Francisco residents transition through this very, very tough time. And I appreciate what a funding crunch is happening now to all the states in the whole country. I was part of the student TV crew that recorded the Board of Trustee meetings during the long ACC JC accreditation struggle. So I appreciate that delicate balance of the decreased funding during financial downturns and its inverse relationship with the demand for classes from students. And you know, I hope the city is able to find it in its budgets to do this, because I think it's really essential to support local residents who need these classes in order to kind of cross over to their new professions. And just have always really appreciated the investment in education that California as a state has made through its master plan, and really understanding that continuing education and keeping it affordable and accessible is part of what you know, makes the city and the state healthy. Thank you.
Thank you for that powerful statement. So we've heard from 4 programs. We have another 4. Biotechnology is a program under the Engineering and Tech department at City College, and it really provides some cutting edge training that touches on biomedical research and so much more, especially in an area where we have world-class research institutions and we have a worldwide COVID crisis to deal with. We have 4 speakers. The first is Shanell Hossainzadeh, and she received biotech certificates and now works at CZ BioHub. Shanell, let me unmute you. Okay, you're on. Oop. There you go, you're on, Shanell. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shanell Hossainzadeh. I'm currently a full-time research associate at an institute called the Chan Zuckerberg BioHub, where I do cell biology research and technology development. You may have heard of my organization recently for expanding UCSF and Bay Area COVID testing capacity, an effort I've been crucially a part of. I graduated from UCSB in 2014, where I studied biochemistry. After working in an administrative role at a small startup in the Bay Area, I wanted to pivot my career toward a path in research with the ultimate goal of going back to grad school. So in 2017, I left my job to attend CCSF's CCSF Biotechnology Certificate Program full-time, and I was only able to do so because of the free city program. I learned and practiced techniques in my classes that I use on a day-to-day in my research still, highlighting how directly relevant the curriculum of the program is. Thanks to the education and resources I received in the program, I secured a full-time paid internship that worked around my CCSF schedule. Biotech professional skills are not something you can learn online, and the hands-on learning through the classroom and the internship program were vital when I was applying for jobs. Because of how the biotech program offered its courses, I was able to complete my certificate within 1 year. By summer of 2018, I was offered several full-time research associate positions, but accepted the one at the CZ BioHub. Now, 2 years later, I'm leaving the BioHub to begin my PhD at UC Berkeley, a goal I would not have been able to achieve without CCSF's help carving me this path. And thanks to Dr. Del Vecchio, who even wrote one of my letters of recommendation. Beyond the hard skill sets that the biotechnology department provided me, it also gave me something equally as valuable, a strong network. Because of the relationships made through this program, I've had the opportunity to give several lectures, mentor high school youth interested in biotechnology, and even connect current CCSF students with their first internship opportunities. The program's reach, much like the skills that it teaches, are exponential in that it enables its students to activate, educate, and enable others interested in bioscience careers. Personally, I identify as a queer person of color, and I'm the first in my family to pursue a career, much less higher education, in sciences. Until joining the biotech program, I did not have a model of mentorship or professional development to support me going down this path. The biotech program at CCSF was the only program I could find in San Francisco that could give me the necessary skills to find my first job in the biosciences in a relatively short time frame and without putting me into severe debt. Without the help of this program, I would not be in the position I am today, and it's an honor to be here to advocate for the program and the department to continue to do so for others. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now next we have Olga Thompson. And let's see, Olga is with Gladstone Institutes after having completed both our lab assistant certificate and also the stem cell program.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks for having me. I am a research associate at the Gladstone Institutes in the Center for Translational Advancement, studying Alzheimer's disease. And thanks to the biotech program, I was able to complete my associates in science and biotechnology, stem cell certificate, and laboratory assistant certificate. I knew I wanted to get into research somehow, but I didn't know the means to even start with that path. And if it weren't for my counselor to actually point out there's a biotech program that prepares you with both the knowledge to succeed in the biotech industry, but also with the skills, I wouldn't be where I am now. Every single class gave us the knowledge of what, why, and how to excel in the biotech industry. Not only did each teacher provide us with the knowledge, but each one ensured we had quality skills to help us exceed in our future careers and help us obtain an internship to apply our knowledge and skills we've learned in our classes. This program, these teachers made sure when we apply for a job, we have not only one, but many of the qualifications that a job looks for. And this is something you don't learn anywhere else except in this biotech program that CCSF offers. Thanks to the biotechnology program, I completed an internship at UCSF. I became a first-generation college graduate in my family and a Latina in STEM. This program prepared me with qualifications to be recognized at a job interview for a completely different job that wasn't even posted yet. The biotech program helped me advance in under 2 years at my current job, and I could not be more grateful for this. I'm able to handle anything because every single class I took and every bit of training that these teachers helped me with prepared me for the stepping stone in my career. And I hope that future students will still have the opportunity to be in this amazing program like I did. Especially now with the COVID-19 research increasing, we will need more people from the biotech program to help us out in this industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we have Jaden Ross, who is an alum, also from the Lab Assistant Program, and works at UCSF. Let's see. Jaden?
Yeah, so yeah, we're doing neurobiology research and list of collaborate with membership at UCSF.
Sorry, Jaden, because of the internet connection, can some people turn off their videos, and that will help for your sound to come. So let's do that. Okay, thank you.
How's it now?
Little better. Okay, go ahead. Thanks.
Sorry if you can't hear me. I work at doing neurobiology research, helping him with research, and actually I study cerebrovasculature in the brain, and I've recently been involved in some COVID-19 research about the relation with stroke and blood clot and COVID-19. Not only would I not have a job without a pilot program at CCSF, I wouldn't have any job. I've been unemployed due to COVID-19. So my path to get there was I had a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition, and I took a couple of years off of that and didn't really know where I wanted to go next. And because CCSF had offered free classes and the biotechnology program, I was able to go back to school, whereas if these classes were free and didn't offer the laboratory experience that they do, I would not have been able to go back on that path to science. I originally went to CCSF because I wanted to go get a master's degree, and I did not have the, is everything okay?
Yeah, the sound is not very good, but if you want to just wrap up in about 10-20 seconds, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, essentially I would not be able to have a career in the sciences or a career at all without the biotechnology program and the hands-on experience that they offer and the incredibly welcoming and encouraging faculty that work with that program are really essential to expanding people in the biosciences.
Thank you very much, Jaden. And as you can see, we're all having to deal with technology. Appreciate your speaking. So our final speaker for biotechnology is an employer partner at UCSF, and that's Alicia Barcena. Are you able? Okay.
Yeah, I think I am on. Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here today. My name is Alicia Barcena. I am a human stem cell, blood stem cell scientist at UCSF. I've been there since 2002, so 18 years working there at the OBGYN department. And my relationship with City College, with the biotechnology program, is almost a decade old, and it's a dual relationship. In one hand, I am a guest speaker in one class that is part of the stem cell certificate. It's a stem cell technology class where I teach not only lectures, but also hands-on technology. And in addition of that, I have been a mentor of interns coming out from City College for many years. Most of them from the CERM Bridges to Biotechnology internship program. So what I want to say, trying to be as brief as possible, is that my observation is that the students coming out from this program are exceptional. My husband also works in biotechnology and is an industry partner of the technology program. And we hire many of these students and interns coming up from City College for the main reason that they are highly trained and very hands-on with many technologies that are necessary both in the academic and in the biotechnology fields. And mentioning other people that are here today, Tom Temprano and others, we are in a public health crisis, COVID-19. Many biotech companies are already and in the future will continue to need workers that are going to help to not only improve tests, but also investigate and discover new drugs and treatments that may save many lives. As others have mentioned here, this is a very unusual place where both academia and a high concentration of biotech companies are in the same geographic location. A lot of these companies, I know for a fact that they prefer to hire local workers, because many people consider the Bay Area a very expensive area and they don't want to move from other parts of the country. So to really continue this program to ensure that there is a good number of future workers in the biotech field that are trained by City College Biotechnology program is absolutely crucial to maintain a high level of basic and applied research for COVID-19 and many other biotechnology applications. So I really, I cannot say enough good words to advocate for this program. I could be talking about this for the rest of the day. But the bottom line is that this is a crucial, critical time for all of us. And this is the time to continue to fund this program, not only for the immediate future of this year to come, but for many years to come. So we continue to maintain this workforce in place for all this biotechnology research.
Thank you very much, Alicia. I appreciate your insights. So now we have English as a second language, and we don't think of it as a career tech education program, but as you can see, so many of our programs are really providing that vital training, which could be language proficiency, it could be digital skills, such an array of skills that we need in the modern world. And we had Leon Vong on. If Leon is not there and had to sign off, may I ask one of our ESL instructors, Fanny Evnochides, to speak, please? And Athena, can you please help unmute? My controls are not very good. Thank you. Fanny, do we have you? Hi.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Well, I feel it's really amazing to hear this testimony from so many great former students, and obviously our college is just doing a great job preparing people for the workforce. I think, you know, I'm not sure if I'm the best person to speak to this. I teach ESL, and we just provide, you know, training for people to go into like every field possible, from childcare to healthcare to restaurants and everything else. And we really, you know, it's just critical that we continue to provide funding for our school. I'd really like to hear from more students. I know we've seen lots of them do start off in ESL, ESL, they need that basic language skill to get going and have jobs in the future. And we've seen a lot of cuts to ESL. So, you know, we really need to keep this in place. It's very critical. We train people to go into all kinds of different industries, and we need to keep doing that. So let's keep working at this. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Fani. And if Leon is able to jump on again, then we will bring Leon back. Our next program is really one of at least half a dozen under health education. And we really have seen so much need for frontline healthcare. And as this pandemic progresses, we really see that healthcare is a very holistic and challenging problem for our diverse communities. And we've had other crises. I think as we hear from several speakers who are alums of the Addiction and Recovery Counseling Program, we can understand the value now of mental health, social services, and all that really goes into healthcare. Our first speaker is going to be Eric Smith, and he obtained the certificate in addiction and recovery counseling, and he is currently with Health Right 360. Athena, if you can unmute Eric, that would be great. Okay. Eric, you're on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're on. Thank you.
Can you hear me on the phone?
Oh.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Yeah? Oh, sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on the call. What I've heard from you guys is outstanding. It says that we need more of this and to not fund our education and get these frontline workers and workers in all departments out there. It's like shooting you in the foot. First, I want to say I hail from Chicago. I'm a high school dropout. My mom was a chemical engineer and a Chicago AP chemistry physics teacher. So I was surrounded by education. I dropped out, came out west with the Grateful Dead on tour. So that tells you about how old I am. I got my certification in the drug and alcohol studies program, and I did a year of work in there, and I realized in the work that I needed another certification, the Community Mental Health Worker Certification, which was key in the engagement and the better understanding of the population I'm serving. Right now, because of the COVID-19, I'm redeployed in multiple areas. I'm an outreach manager. I work with our most needy clients, the ones that are triple diagnosed, who have very bad health implications, making sure like if they have issues or advocating for them. The Human Rights Commission, I work with them. Legal aid for the elderly, to name just a few. I'm trying to look at this thing right here. And I love the work I do. And the one key thing I want to make a point of is CCS afforded me, after I got my GED, afforded me the belief in myself and that I can make a positive impact in the community. True belief that I can have an impact. And as a young man trying to put away childish beliefs and become a man as an adult, that was really key in my direction I was going. The belief in myself, even when I had doubts about being able to not maintain the curriculum. My instructors at CCSF were outstanding, instrumental in the person I am today. And I would say I'm pretty, I love what I do. I'm willing to advocate for people, and I see the truth. If you go through our city today, you'll see the encampments everywhere. And what CCSF enables individuals who might not have a great education, who have a passion to learn the skills that are needed to get on the front lines and help our community heal and the belief in themselves. So I want to thank my instructors And I want to thank CCSF. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Eric. Yes, and now we have Scott Shulman, also from the Addiction and Recovery Counseling Certificate, who works at BAART programs, and you can explain that to us, Scott.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Scott Shulman. I've been in the industry in the field for 2 years now, starting with a full-time position at Walden House with Health Right 360 in June of 18, and continuing with my current full-time position with BART programs, which is Narcotic Replacement Therapy Treatment, a methadone clinic, where I was also able to satisfy my internship hours for my program. I've held these full-time positions while attending my classes at CCSF, graduating just a few weeks ago in May. I was able to procure these full-time positions through the help and support of the CCSF program. It is a remarkably comprehensive program. The practical, the theoretical, the debate, the discussion that was involved was incredible. The support I received there, not only academically, but professionally as well. Weekly emails related to job opportunities in the field, support with those job opportunities, resume building workshops, jobs fairs, several jobs fairs, all went into making this a remarkably supportive program. I would not be in this field today were it not for CCSF. And as a little way of background there, I'm born and raised in New York City, moved to the Bay Area just a couple of years ago. And for the few years I visited the Bay Area prior to moving here, it was my desire to enter the field of addiction and recovery services. And in performing my due diligence, I discovered that all roads led to CCSF's program of addiction and recovery counseling. So I enrolled in the program, taking a course in harm reduction in the summer of 2018, which really helped to open the doors for me and explain this field as a public health model. And I view the programs of CCSF on a macro scale of performing the same function for the Bay Area. CCSF provides remarkably disciplined, well-trained, experienced individuals for all manner of services in the Bay Area, which I believe the Bay Area would be worse off without them. To piggyback off something that someone said earlier, it would simply be catastrophic for CCSF and the Bay Area in general for this wonderful institution of learning to not receive the critical funds it needs in helping to support the Bay Area. The positions filled by the alumni of CCSF are critical to the area in the best of times. How we can even consider slashing funding for this institution in this critical time, we really need to afford CCSF the support it needs in continuing to supply the Bay Area with remarkably well-trained and talented people. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy your day.
Thank you very much, Scott. So our final speaker from Addiction and Recovery Counseling is Victoria Westbrook, and she works for the City of San Francisco. Please tell us more about that.
Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for letting me speak today. City College is life-changing for so many people. I work with San Francisco's Adult Probation Department in the Reentry Division. I came to CCSF after having been released from federal prison. I was indicted on federal drug charges. Getting out of prison when I was 50, you know, honestly, if I could have seen my kids, the feds could have kept me longer. That's how afraid I was of getting out. Where different avenues said no, CCSF said yes. And
You know, it actually wasn't even my first choice. I wanted to, I found my passions on the other side of prison in recovery and reentry work. And I wanted to go to CC AP CAPS school, but I couldn't afford it. And so I came to CCSF, you know, kind of disappointed that I couldn't go to the other thing, but I can't tell you how grateful I am that it didn't work out for the other pathway. The program at CCSF not only trains people with the technical skills and the professional skills that they need to do the very difficult work of substance abuse counseling, it also prepares them on emotional levels. You have to be very self-aware to be able to do the work that we do in community, and they provide opportunities for us to gain that self-awareness. The support that we gained, not only from the teachers, but from the administration, was amazing. Prior to working for adult probation, I worked at a nonprofit called Code Kinderlorn, who did workforce development, and we would teach people ABCD. You get a job, you get a better job, you get a career, and then you get your dream job. CCSF, in numerous instances, was that pathway to a career. Getting somebody a job is easy. Getting somebody a career is much more difficult, and CCSF is that conduit to careers in very reasonable time. I just wanted to, the last thing I want to say is, you know, somebody said that we need to have this funding, that, and the question is whether or not the city can afford to do it. In my opinion, the city cannot afford not to do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Alicia. So we have our final program now, and that would be Athena. Go ahead.
Sorry, Michelle Sieglitz.
If Michelle isn't on, then she can join when we have Q&A. We just have one more speaker now, and that is from the nursing program. So we all know what nurses do, but we definitely can hear more from Mei Yang, who is a graduate of the RN program and had also taken ESL classes at City College. Mei, can you unmute Mei, please? Okay, Mei.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. My name is Mei. Yeah, I'm a 2020 graduate nursing student from the City College of San Francisco. I'm so proud. I'm also so grateful that, you know, City College has given me this opportunity. Academically, I can really say that CCSF has raised me from a newborn to a grown-up. So I am an immigrant from Myanmar. I came into this country in 2009 with very limited English. So I'm the first generation to go to college. I'm also the first generation to go into healthcare profession in my family. I always proud to mention that I will never forget the moment when I come into the immigration in the San Francisco airport for the first time. The only conversation that I can have with the immigration officer was, I cannot speak English. So that's how much I have learned from City College. I have studied my learning journey in City College from a level 1 ESL class. So I worked my way all the way through to a nursing graduate. In those past years, while I was working on my English skills and my GE and my prerequisites for the nursing programs, I have, for many times, I'm so struggle to balance between, you know, family and kids and school. For many times I want to cry, I want to split myself into half so I can take care of my kids and go to school at the same time. Like, so struggle, but eventually I found that City College also provide childcare program so that they can take care of my kids when I'm in school. So they solve my problem that I can go to school that worry-free. I mentioned this just to, you know, to bring out how much support that I have gotten from City College. and how important City College is to an individual like me who has very limited resources. And I also want to share a very short story that I encountered like 2 weeks ago when I was working as a volunteer in the general hospital for a staff COVID-19 screening. So while I was screening a staff who I saw her badge is a Spanish interpreter. So I said, oh, I would love to learn Spanish too. The first thing she said was, wow, go to City College. City College is the place you go when you need a new skill. Now, I'm so amazed. I'm so happy to hear how many people that have got their job training and their skills. As a nursing student, while I was working in my clinical rotations, I also encounter many healthcare workers from RN to LVN to CNA to medical assistant for dental assistant that they also graduated from the City College. From those that we can see how important City College is to our community. So without City College, my dream of serving our community as a registered nurse really wouldn't be possible. So I'm so grateful and so happy. I'm so proud. I'm also hope that the opportunity that I get from City College can continue be available to many other, who need a second chance to restart a new life in this country. So very thank you. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for sharing about your journey, May. And it's a story that's oft told, but you really have your very personal story that's important, as have been all these stories that our alums have shared and also our employer partners. Thank you. So we actually have Michelle Siglitz from BEMA, and I think she wanted to showcase one of our other alums. Michelle, you
yes,
are
hi.
unmuted.
It looks like my mic is now on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. So I'm here actually as a faculty member of BEMA, as well as the media coordinator for RISE, Reimagine the Student Experience. And I reached out to one of our former students, Eduardo Mancera, who is a tremendous success. And he's not able to join us specifically because of his great success. And he is working on the front line as a field video producer and journalist, recently having gotten promoted as the field video lead for special programs at NBC Universal Telemundo. When he was with us, he came as an international student from Colombia, and he showed tremendous promise from the get-go, and is one of those students that, quite frankly, none of us will ever forget. Humble, kind, incredibly talented, open to all sorts of experience. I personally hired him for freelance work of my own after he took classes with me, after having seen how talented he was. I'm here to say that because of his study with our department, he was able to get an extension to a student visa and do an internship with Univision Fox in San Jose, which then led to this placement. He is now the proud recipient of 8 Emmy Awards, and he's out there every day capturing the information, unbiased journalism, working for NBC Universal Telemundo now, and it's just incredible. And like I said, I'm sorry he wasn't able to be here to join us, but it's specifically because he is out there doing the work on the front line. So I wanted to give him props and just be a representative for Eduardo, who couldn't be here. And also Jessica, it's so great to see you, and thank you so much for all your kind words.
Thank you for giving a shout out to Eduardo. And this really shows how City College and the city of San Francisco is this international community. And we are all so connected, especially in this time of crisis. So before we move on, and I know it's 12:33, so I imagine some of you would need to sign off. But if you would like to stay, and especially for the departments, department leaders who are with us, then we have time for Q&A for those who are interested. I do want to give a brief shout out first to all our amazing speakers. And I want to acknowledge that we have City College department leaders who have helped to make this town hall possible. Staying in connection and always being there for our students and employers. And that would be Alayo Fernandez, Kathy White, Michelle Siglitz, Bob Del Vecchio, Goli Afshar, Karen Leung, Eric Lewis, Alma Avila, Beth Friedman, Dory Rincon, Maureen Noonan, Ann Mayer, Dean Vanessa Miller, also from AFT 2121, who's really been the lead in trying to work with the supervisor's office and city at large around the Workforce Education and Recovery Fund. Thank you to Athena Wade, James Tracy, Beatrice Herrera, and other AFT 2121 leaders. Now I will hand this over to Athena Wade, and she can help to facilitate discussion. So this is going to be more free-for-all. We really wanted to have these presentations so we can hear these heartfelt stories, but we also want to take this to the next stage, because we'd like to share this, the stories out more broadly in the public so that people recognize the essential role that City College plays in this community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lee, and thank you for everybody's patience as we're all figuring out and continuing to learn about how to coordinate something like this remotely. This was a very powerful event, and I'm just so grateful to everybody who was able to be here and share their stories. I'd like to lift up a little bit from one of our Labor and Community Studies member, a comment just acknowledging that the role that labor plays in our CTE programs and in hiring our students, also serving on advisory boards and doing work through our Labor and Community Studies courses. I'd like to ask James Tracy, as the political director of AFT 2121, who's been really, really critical in holding down our WERF campaign, to share with folks some ways that you can get involved and how you can help to make sure that the Workforce Education Recovery Fund does move forward now. And then after James has a chance to speak, I'd just like to open it up for folks who have questions. I will try to open up the chat now so that you can put them more broadly, or you can send them to me and I will speak them out. But go ahead, James, why don't you let folks know what are the next steps? How can they get involved now?
Great. Thank you, everybody, for both speaking and listening. I think for many of us, this was a nice reminder in these hard times about the amazing work that happens at City College and how everything that we do, every class that's taught, every lesson that's learned is a gift that keeps on giving, not just to San Francisco, but a world that needs a lot of these type of gifts. So thank you. So my job here is to ask you guys to do some things. First, I would like, I'm putting in the roster for the Board of Supervisors with special thanks to Supervisor Gordon Mar, who needs no nudging on these things. I would like everybody to take a look at this roster and today, in 5 sentences, email your Board of Supervisors member or Board of Supervisors member that you have a relationship with, either through your work or your organization, and tell them that you support the WERF and that you would like them to become a co-sponsor as well with Supervisor Gordon Mar. They need to hear this, because even the very best of them are juggling many, many different demands. But we know from your testimony and from our work that all of us do together every day that the City College is foundational to the good work that everybody wants to see done. If you want to see more mental health services, City College is foundational. If you want to see Black and Brown students get hired, this is foundational. So reminding supervisors as they're making hard choices in the budget that this has to be front and center is really great. And if you wouldn't mind, please, when you email them, CC me so we can keep track of who's reaching out to who, and that would be very much appreciated. Second of all, and I see Sally Wynn with what else can we do? Something that would be very, very powerful is we are all parts of different organizations here, some represented here, churches, labor union, community groups, book clubs, whatnot. We would like the AFT and the WERF campaign would love to come and get your formal endorsement so we can broaden this coalition out, because that is truly what is going to win this. And then finally, make sure that you sign up with Athena, get on our blast, because there will be many things to do. Hopefully, knock on wood, we will be able to do much more than Zoom activism fairly soon. I know it's been very, very frustrating for many of us to have our tactics confined in this way, but we'll be we will certainly be turning up the heat soon, and want you all with us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, James. So I've got a couple questions coming through the chat, and then I'd like in stack, we have Gregory Keach next. So let me just read these out. Any speakers that are able to, can you please address the opportunities for union jobs is the first question. And it should be, you should be able to speak freely at this point. We've opened it up. So if you're able to unmute yourself, you can answer that question if you'd like to. Okay, so maybe we'll come back to that question at the end. So another question is just that diversity studies have been under attack. Sue Englander is wanting to know if folks would like to address the importance of diversity studies to job training and skills development. Would anyone like to speak to that?
Victoria?
Yes, so part of our training is cultural competency, because we deal with a lot of different people from a lot of different cultures and backgrounds. And so that is part of the skills that we're taught in our program.
Thank you.
This is Vic Chung, this CCSF student trustee. I can also speak to that. We are, you know, I've been actively involved in essentially brainstorming stages of, you know, where the funding for the Workforce Education and Recovery Fund would go. And we are absolutely designating money to really center this on those who are most oppressed, right? So we are designating funding to ethnic studies and social justice. We are designating it to provide wraparound services and direct support to marginalized communities, with the understanding that, you know, the experiences, the identities that people hold are intersectional. So it's not just African American studies, but it's also LGBT studies, women and gender studies, and that is a very central piece to what the, you know, the MOU, as well as, you know, every stage of holding the city officials and, you know, city tax dollars accountable to helping, you know, the communities that are most oppressed in the city of San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you, Vic. Greg Keach is next in the stack. Greg, would you like to ask a question?
I actually do have a sort of a comment and a question. Thank you all. I really appreciate all of the stories that we heard, and I really noticed, of course, as the chair of the ESL department, that so many of those stories involved people whose student whose student journey involved learning a new language, and how key it is for our workforce and for the city of San Francisco to take note of that. It's a huge accomplishment. And I heard also at the beginning of the session some support for ESL, but there's a disconnect between this verbal support and Tom Vogel's list of departments being considered for return to campus that was sent out this morning, in which ESL was glaringly excluded. So there's still no viable plan for a non-credit ESL registration in person or even online. There's bits and pieces of it. There's been a 20% cut to non-credit ESL for the fall and more cuts on the horizon. So I'm wondering what concrete commitments can be made to ensure that ESL classes will be available to those students who need them this fall. Thank you. I noticed that Dianna Gonzales is no longer here. So I don't know who would answer that question.
Hey, Greg, it's Tom Temprano.
I saw that you were still here, but I didn't want to call you out.
No, it's okay. That's what I'm here for, right? So I know that Dianna has, and this is just because I'm CC'd on everybody's emails all the time and try to read as many of them as I can. I know that she's committed to working with you and ESL faculty on ways to, whether it's bring our non-credit ESL and other ESL classes online. Obviously, at the level that the board is at, we are supposed to be many steps above the practical implementation of what's happening, but I've heard a commitment directly from her, and I'm happy to follow up with her and Leslie Malloy to get some more clarity about what the plan to get those classes either online or taught again in person as quickly as possible is. From the funding perspective, I will say one of the reasons that from the beginning, a year ago, I started centering ESL and non-credit ESL in particular as sort of core funding priorities of the WERF is that we know that they're not funded, they're not weighted both non-credit and now just not weighted in the same way they ought to be from the state funding. But also I do sort of, as I said in my introductory remarks, feel like the ESL classes that we teach to the residents of San Francisco, we are providing a core public service that no other entity comes close to providing to the city and county when it comes to welcoming recent immigrants, preparing our workforce. And I do think that centering ESL as part of the funding priorities for WERF is key, because the city, I believe, should be stepping in to fill the gaps in state funding to allow us to not just continue at the level we're at, which is less than where we should be, but to re-expand to where we were and ought to be to meet the needs of the community. So I think that ESL needs to be central to what we do with WERF. But to the more technical how we are going to be bringing those programs online for fall, I'll let Dianna know that you brought it up and ask her to follow up with you.
And can I ask one more thing then, is can you get a commitment from her that since the college was not able to enact a non-credit registration program this semester, that the college hold ESL non-credit harmless for any enrollment issues in the fall and reassign teachers rather than firing them?
I will certainly
we want to be held harmless.
I will definitely ask her that.
I put a plan in on April 13th. Nothing was done. We have no registration process, and we're concerned that the administration will not commit to hold harmless for the fall.
I will definitely ask that. Could I ask you, Greg, would you mind forwarding that plan to me, to my CCSF email? I'll put it in the chat for everyone.
Yes, I can do that.
And I'll follow up with her today, and I'll copy you.
Okay.
Thank you both. So we are, we were to end at 12:30. So I've seen that Sally Wynn had her hand up, and also Stephen Brady is on stack. If you'd like to get a question in, please let us know now. Last call for questions before we wrap up. Thank you. Go ahead, Sally.
Hi there. I support Greg 100% in his request for ESL, but I also want to put forth ideas that I want to know how we can help. Who do we contact to get funding at the state level, at the federal level, and at the local level? What can we individually do? And we've seen some great speakers here today. I don't know what kind of budget there is, but some of these people would be fantastic little TV ads as personal stories of the value of what City College does. And either in print or TV would be even better because they are so articulate and eloquent. You know, let's let the people know. Let's let our state legislators know. Let's let the state community college chancellor know. And we need concrete things that we can do to promote the college, to promote ESL, to promote funding for our college at every level. So tell us what to do, please. Thank you.
Could I respond to that?
Please.
Yeah. So Sally, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I can assure everyone here that the BEMA team is ready to respond to that request. If there is an opportunity for our team to get media out there, we certainly will do that. And I think the time is 9. Thank you.
I will just add that that was one of the intentions of having this town hall. You know, right now this is a lot more freeform because we are here to speak frankly about what is happening to City College in terms of the cuts. And too long we've just kind of allowed us to be, you know, the sort of the stable but kind of unheard partner in so many different parts of the city and the region's you know, programs and infrastructure. But we've got to make some noise, and these stories are powerful. Thank you to BEMA. We have so much expertise within, and we're kind of doing the work of all these expensive consultants that we've had, right? Kind of marketing what City College does. And it's so many hours that are thankless over the course of the summer. We're all educators, and we're doing this because we care about City College. So yes, the stories will be told. We want to do it through social media, through our different media outlets, and also with each other, because now we have heard people speak. And that is what people understand when somebody in their lives, their neighbors, their friends, can attest to the value of City College in their lives.
Can I quickly, in terms of where to aim additional advocacy? So I think what James said is the most important point, that for WERF, the way that WERF gets on the ballot is a vote of the Board of Supervisors. So please contact your supervisor. I don't know if James wants to throw that link in there again, but that is probably the single most important thing you can do. For those who watched the last Board of Trustees meeting, we passed a resolution in support of WERF that also called on the entire Board of Supervisors to put it on the ballot and have submitted that to them. But the more that they hear from their constituents, the more likely to get their support there will be. I think other places to effectively lobby for resources for City College are with our state elected officials. In particular, if you live, well, anywhere in San Francisco, but especially the west side of San Francisco, Assemblymember Phil Ting is the chair of the Assembly Budget Committee. He and other Assembly members, I think, need to hear about the importance of maintaining funding for community colleges. I know he is leading a charge, which is amazing, along with his colleagues, to defund the Calbright online community college and to instead distribute that funding to community colleges like City College, which is amazing. There was a great article about that yesterday. The other place that I would encourage folks to lobby in addition, also bother David Chu, depending on where you are, and Scott Wiener, as they are legislative representatives. The other place that you really should be lobbying is with Speaker Pelosi and our congressional representatives. One of the things that I think is most important as they consider these next iterations of kind of COVID response stabilization funding initiatives, kind of the follow-ups to the CARES Act, is that they not think about funding community colleges, which they are currently, just in our COVID response, just to cover our costs associated with COVID-19 and the costs that our students incur, but that they actually consider funding community colleges as we have discussed today, as the vehicles for the restart of our economy and retraining of our workforce, and that they actually increase funding to community colleges because we are the most effective, successful, and cost-effective way to actually retrain students, as we have heard time and time again here. So also to lobby Nancy Pelosi or whoever your Congress member is to increase funding and support for community colleges in future federal stimulus bills.
Thank you, Tom. Stephen Brady is next, and then I have Mays, and Diane Wallace has the last question. If you do have a question, please let me know now. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, I noticed there was a few construction people on there, and we over at Evans, we do construction and automotive. We already wear PPE all the time. You know, we have N95 masks all the time. We'd like to get back at it as soon as possible. And I see on Tom Vogel's list we're under consideration, but you know, if we can really maybe get together and figure out a way that we can do that and get back into the labs and start doing the hands-on work that we do, because that's, you know, we can do so much theory, but really to learn construction, automotive, you really have to get in there and get your hands dirty, and that's what we want to do. So as well as that, and to what Tom said, if we could build back up some of our programs. One of the speakers mentioned, you know, that he did non-credit. He's a manager. These non-credit classes are really important, because if you're going to manage people, you have to know the kind of work that they're doing. And a lot of our, you know, our retirees would love to come back and work as a part-time in the evening time. You know, somebody who wants to be a manager, maybe they're a plumber or an electrician, they'd like to be a manager, but they want to learn other aspects of the trades, like, you know, like plumbing if they're an electrician, but they just need to know a little bit about it so that they can manage people to do those jobs. So if we could, the city build is great, but it would be great to have, you know, evening classes again that people can come and take after work and on the weekends to and rebuild our program. We've lost a lot of classes. I did a little survey over between 2016 and 2019 on how many classes that have been cut in these essential trades. I have some figures here, for example, where the number of offerings went from 60 units being taught in 2016 down to 44 in fall of 19. That's in 3 years. And then all of the, in construction, all of the non-credit classes were completely cut. There was 14 non-credit classes offered in fall of 16, and they're all gone now. And in automotive, similar kind of numbers. You know, we went from having 79 units being taught in the fall of 16 down to 46 last fall. So I'm really hoping, and I've done a lot of work trying to get signatures for both chef and communities to get more funding for the college. We need these programs. As an immigrant myself, I know the only way that I could get educated was night classes and weekend classes, and able to develop all the different skills that you need to, you know, to make it and make a good career and get a good living for yourself and your family. So so that's just, I just wanted, and I hope Tom is listening and he can push to get, you know, to grow the college back. Thanks.
Stephen. So next up we have Mays. I'm going to ask us to keep this as brief as possible because we are a half hour over time. So it'll be Mays, Diane Wallace, and then Angelica will have the last comment. Thank you all for being here.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Here. Just to comment, what I do, mainly me being a current student as a poli-sci major, I really appreciate having this conference and seeing what we could do for City College, especially being the biggest in the country alone, since I met a lot of international students. And me coming from a first, second generation of Filipino-American family, is that we do need this. We all can build because, you know, We're as one. And yeah, I just keep on doing what you guys are doing. I just want to say thank you. And Tom knows what I'm talking about because I read your profile, sir. You as a fellow poli-sci major, so you know what we do. Because that's what I do personally. Like when I talk to people, if you want to mark, that have platforms, you know, music and social media, like use your platforms. And this is what you have to do. As you guys saw, what happened with George Floyd. You see how the barrier erupted. So yeah, tell the truth. You're doing your thing, even though I plan to get into tech. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Diane Wallace.
Hi, everybody. My former ESL student, Leon Vong, was supposed to speak today, and I think he had to get off the meeting early to go back to work. But just a very quick recap. Leon is sort of a textbook case of how non-credit ESL feeds into credit ESL, feeds into transferring to SF State, feeds into now him being a teacher with San Francisco Unified School District, teaching Vietnamese at the Tenderloin Community School. I wish he had been able to speak. So I just wanted to let everybody know a little bit about that. And I think we can also see from the other speakers how important non-credit ESL is. Fani is one of the people who helped organize, and I want to say thank you to Supervisor Mar for giving us a voice today, and to Lee Meow for working with all the speakers. Fani was speaking for ESL as well, and what she didn't mention is that she's one of the newly laid off part-time ESL instructors, and I'm wondering if there's any way that we can refund the classes that were cut from the fall 2020 schedule, because 75% of my colleagues at John Adams were laid off, and almost 100% of my former colleagues at Civic Center were laid off. And we need these ESL classes. We need all of them at the different campuses. And it's really heartbreaking that a lot of these recently laid off ESL instructors are the ones doing the organizing and trying to fight for City College. And I'd really like to see them brought back. We need a strong, robust, non-credit ESL. And looking at the online schedule for fall 2020, it's so skeletal. We've lost so many office training programs, citizenship programs. The number of classes and the campuses that they're offered at has been so greatly reduced, and it's frightening to see what's going on. So if there's any way that we can use some of this funding to restore those recently laid off faculty, I'd be very grateful. Thank you so much for listening today.
Hello.
Thank you much. Go ahead, Angelica.
Okay, sorry. Hi, everyone, and thank you for just giving me the opportunity to use this platform to give my testimonial as a previous student of City College of San Francisco. My name is Angelica, and I'm also a native of San Francisco. I'm actually a graduate of the Healthcare Interpreter Program and the Community Health Worker Program in 2015. And I think that, I wanted to really just take this time to express to you guys the importance of both programs. Working in the position as an interpreter, I've been able to give my community a voice. And not only that, but make my patients feel safe during their encounters with their physicians and their medical staff. And more importantly, it has also allowed me to protect children of these LEP families from having to interpret for family members themselves. No child should have to be asked to do this task. Not only is it illegal for children to do this in encounters, but it's almost impossible to have a child to ask them to comprehend terminology, body systems, physiology that's required to do the work. This responsibility should not be theirs. Medicaid has recognized the importance of healthcare interpreters in that in 2009, they actually approved an initiative to actually start reimbursing the hospitals and clinics for their interpreter services. Now, although it's not reimbursed at 100%, they do get at least 50% reimbursement. But I think that that's also speaking to the fact that interpreters and community health workers are essential workers for the community and in the healthcare system as well. And this can really be seen more than anything in the services that are provided and also in the patient outcomes that are as a result of having an interpreter present. So I want to kind of put that into more context in the sense that the greatest value that an interpreter and a community health worker can offer in a healthcare setting is that reduction of negative outcomes, because negative outcomes can be prevented in the present by having proper communication and understanding of treatment plans and expectations and things of that nature in relation to their encounters that they have with their physicians or medical team. And so I think in the long term, or in a broader sense, it's important to remember that keeping these programs in place will end up helping the community and the county and our country as a whole, in that it's going to reduce costs downstream by hedging these these situations upstream and providing these services that the interpreters can have. And I also volunteer with City College of San Francisco in the interpreter program currently, in the work that I do in the organization that I work for, which is providing donated surgical specialty care to the underinsured communities in the counties of San Francisco and the Bay Area. Then we're able to see volunteers come through. And I've mentioned City College of San Francisco Interpreter Program. There's 2 students that have gone through the program that I've mentioned too. There's also, I'm actually a result of somebody else telling me about the program itself. And I was, I think that speaking to the fact that I was hired almost immediately out of the program speaks to the need for this profession as well. And so I think to kind of put that into context, I would just ask you to imagine being in a situation where you are in a doctor's office and you do not speak the language of the physician, and they're asking you questions, they're telling you that you need to take medications, or even in a hospital setting, in an ER, if you're in a situation where you can't speak to someone and say, for example, you're allergic to penicillin and somebody's going to give you some medication, if that person can't communicate that and this medical staff person gives them penicillin, like, the person could pass away. So like, it might seem kind of far-fetched or even maybe extreme, but these are the types of situations which medical interpreters help in, so that these kinds of things don't happen, so that treatments are taken properly, so that you know, the outcomes of the patients are positive and they're able to thrive. So
thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, Angelica, and thank you for everybody who made the time to be here. It's clear how much we are all committed to ensuring that City College can play the vital role that it does in our community, for most of us staying half an hour over the time of the forum. So I'm grateful to be in community with you all. I'm looking forward to continuing to work to make sure that CCSF is to the level that it needs to be to serve San Francisco, especially in this critical time. I'd like to also point out, I put in, so before we shared the list of SF supervisors, I've also just shared a Google form. Please put your name and email and information in there. Let us know if you plan to contact your supervisor, also if you plan to contact your state representative, and if there's other things you think you can do to help. We really win these things together. That's how we fought the ACCJC. That's how we got Free City College. So again, I'm really grateful for all of our parts in making sure that CCSF is here for San Francisco. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll leave this open just for a few minutes so people can see the chat, the link for the sign up.